So I chose The One I Love for a film for this project. This movie explored a lot of ethical dilemmas, and it was very confusing actually. But you guys will know what I mean when I get into it. But it's a very intricate plot, but a very good movie. So let's get started. So for the overview, these characters had a lot of challenges, but practically they're married. Ethan and Sophie, the main characters, were sent on a retreat to a nice house for the weekend to rekindle their marriage. They've had their challenges in their relationship, like Ethan is cheated, he's emotionally unavailable, stuff like that. What they didn't know was that in the guest house, every time one of them left, a perfect version of their partner appeared. For example, if Ethan left the guest house and Sophie stayed, Sophie would find the perfect Ethan in the guest house. So as the movie went on and the characters explored their perfect partners, they realized that the reason the perfect partners were there were to break up their marriage. So why does this work as an ethical exercise? So this movie works as an ethical exercise because it explores ethical dilemmas like truthfulness and respecting personal boundaries. And our main characters go through many scenarios where ethics come into play, just like the ethics we've talked about throughout all of these weeks. So I'll be talking about them in a little bit more detail, like in the next couple slides for you guys. So my first theme was virtue ethics, and with that I chose honesty, which plays into virtue ethics and is considered a fundamental virtue. So regular Sophie and Ethan, although they had their trust issues, both vowed not to be intimate or romantic with perfect Sophie and Ethan because although perfect Sophie and Ethan were practically regular Sophie and Ethan, it still felt wrong or immoral in their marriage. Regular Sophie ended up dishonoring and being non-virtuous when she was being dishonest about being intimate with perfect Ethan. Regular Ethan remained virtuous and was actually highly skeptical of perfect Sophie because, again, it was like a complete replica of his wife. The virtue ethics in this movie were very obvious because it makes you consider who you really want to be. At the end of the movie, regular Sophie and regular Ethan actually had dinner with their perfect versions of themselves, and it really showed them what they could be like. But, of course, the virtue ethics in this movie got complicated quickly. An example of one of their many complicated moral dilemmas is when regular Ethan did enjoy his time with perfect Sophie, but still chose to stay loyal to regular Sophie, knowing she wasn't being loyal to him. Virtue ethics emphasizes character and the virtues one embodies. Staying committed showed loyalty and integrity within regular Ethan's character. Overall, virtue ethics were shown very obviously in this movie and helped me really understand all of the different areas related to virtue ethics. The second theme I chose was respect of autonomy, which is a key principle to deontological ethics. Sorry, I said that so wrong. The respect of autonomy practically means respecting boundaries and allowing a person to choose their own decisions and trusting that they would. And remember from week 6, deontology prioritizes the concept of duty, doing that, which we have an obligation to do, or protect or sustain, becomes the most important criteria for choosing the right action. Regular Ethan wasn't good with this ethical theory. He spied on regular Sophie with perfect Ethan and even pretended to be perfect Ethan to see if she would be romantic or intimate with him. Regular Sophie, even though she didn't have the right intentions, she did respect regular Ethan's decisions. She didn't spy on him or even really care because she was so wrapped up in perfect Ethan. When regular Ethan didn't respect regular Sophie's autonomy, she was very hurt. So to wrap up, this movie did a great job at exemplifying ethical theories that we've worked with in the past in a very hypothetical situation. It gave you a lot of moral dilemmas, like if the perfect version of my partner was in the other room, would I go to my perfect partner or would I go to my imperfect one? This movie really did work on like virtue ethics and deontology, like stuff we've worked on in the past, and I feel like it would really help somebody understand like what we were working with. But again, 10 out of 10. And this was my one reference from week 8 on virtue ethics. It was a quote I took from a chapter we were like looking at, and I put it in my slideshow. So yeah, thank you for listening.